When the world needs you, you answer your goddamn phone.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with the Invincible comics, Cecil Stedman's a character that I didn't think was done particularly very well in the comics, and that's because he wasn't really a main character, quote unquote. He was just kind of an antagonist, almost, that didn't like Invincible for some reason, and then he just kind of gets killed off by Robot because Robot turns evil. Spoilers lol. It was very weirdly done, and I must say I'm not a big fan of it. So when I heard that Invincible was being made into a show, I was like, oh. Because I figured, well, I'm sure they've changed some of the characters because it's been quite a number of years since those comics came out. I can only assume they've had different ideas by now. And one person I'm glad to see has been changed significantly from his source material, at least so far anyway, is Cecil Stedman.
Throwing flashbang.
This guy's actually my favourite character in the season, which I'm sure is strange considering how many really cool characters are in this show, and I've chosen the old dude who kind of looks like he needs a walking stick. I was very happy to see that he doesn't seem to be going down his whole insane he does make an army of like those dudes towards the end of the season. However, I think he's doing it for an actual reason this time as opposed to, you know, in the comics where he just kind of goes batshit. So until season 2 comes out, I can't really tell if that's where they're going to take him, but God, I hope not. I hope they keep him like this because I like the way he is now.
Let's bring the hammer down.
His methods are quite unorthodox, but you can tell he legitimately gives a shit about the people under his protection.
For victory? No. Do you know how many people died here yesterday? 338. 338.
Also, quite a lot of his interactions with people are really funny.
Give me some good news, Donald.
Whoever did this cut the power and the backup.
That's not good news. That's not good news at all. I ask you for some good news, Donald.
He's also naturally quite intelligent. I love that you can see the exact frame where he notices the mist in his breath and can tell that that means the demon detective dude is here.
Get the hell out.
Wasn't hiding.
He's certainly nowhere near as powerful as the rest of the cast, but considering he's just a normal human, he actually does quite well for himself. As you can see, he's not really any match for a superhuman by himself, especially when he's taken off guard. Cecil's main power comes from the defense agency that he runs, including the team that runs his teleporter, although as shown, it's not exactly 100% accurate in where he wants to go.
I meant to teleport to your front door, but this thing isn't exactly Swiss in its precision.
The arsenal of the defense agency is really impressive, even though it doesn't really end up doing a whole lot in the end. It is still quite cool. For example, they literally have a nuke laser.
Let's bring the hammer down.
He also has this weapon. I'm not really sure where he got it, whether he made it, but it kinda stops Invincible in his tracks, so I guess that's semi-powerful at least, considering a nuclear blast didn't do anything to him. He also has the balls to go up against Omni-Man 1v1 with just his teleporter, literally just to slow him down, knowing full well he can't defeat him.
Jesus, Nolan, right for the throat. After everything that we've been through.
Keep out of this, Cecil.
That's the kind of intelligence I like in his character. He didn't really show too much of that in the comics. I'm sure he was still very intelligent, but he was more focused as being just a tyrannical bad guy as opposed to being a mad genius, which is now more what the dude making all the cyborgs is meant to be. The defense agency also hired that fucking mad scientist from the university to create these cyborg men that are quite powerful, although again they're no match for Omni-Man obviously. Something that impressed me is they somehow managed to keep this gigantic creature under lockdown for like, I think it's months. Granted, Omni-Man defeated it and knocked it out initially, but it was still somehow kept under wraps by the government, which is quite interesting considering how powerful this thing is. He's also very mood.
This is why I have always hated you.
That's why I hate me too.
Cecil seems like a legitimate good force in this show as opposed to in the comics, where he kind of turns evil for more or less no reason. I think the idea is that he wants to protect people so badly that he just goes mental, but the way they just kind of kill him off in a random issue makes me think they didn't really give a shit about his character towards the end, and I can't blame them. However, the attention they've given Cecil through this season, he's actually gotten quite a lot, especially considering that he's not really involved in any of these fights, but they add him into the scenes anyway as Invincible's almost sort of coach. Makes me think that they are trying to use this character much more and to much better effect than in the comics, which is nice to see. I'm looking forward to season 2. I can't really remember what the season 2 equivalent is in the comics, but I can only assume it's when he starts going against Invincible because Invincible doesn't want to kill Omni-Man because Omni-Man's good even though he's bad, and then Cecil starts hating him. I'm hoping that they take Cecil in a different direction this time, but we'll see. Either way, at least for this season, he's a very strong character and I like the way he's made. Unlike her. I'm gonna make a video on her, although I feel like you can't, because you can't really scream about a character like this because the internet will just eat you, especially Tumblr, but I feel like I should do it anyway because it's funny and I really don't like you. Seriously though, Amber's the worst character in The Thing. Someone non-ironically told me that Rex was the worst character and I almost decked them. So yeah, it would appear that I need new friends.